shouts how it's good to be back, and his name is Bill Cipher, and he looks at Gideon. He looks at Gideon and asks, "What are you, some kind of ventriloquist dummy?"
Such a good line.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Hoppocalypse, and Itisdpayne.
Oi. I have to click a tab. Oh, wrong tab. That tab. Oh, this is a big picture.
Fun fact time?
Yeah, fun fact time. Hey, do you know that Journal 3 exists in real life?
I did not. Tell me more.
That wasn't a very convincing. I did not. This is for all the fans of the show that wondered about the creatures and notes in Journal 3. Have no fear, Disney has published a real-life Journal 3. Are you going to get one? I thought this...
I think my niece had one.
I think... Oh, that reminded me of a story of my niece. But yeah, I thought this was out of print. I know they have a Journal 4.
I mean, I don't know when these facts were bundled. So it could have been available at the time that these facts were made.
Does it have a date? Scroll. Oh no. If you love this article about top gravity fall facts, visit our channel for endless awesome. To know more about your favorite shows. I'm good. Just doesn't tell us. Well, okay. I guess a quick little. I'll get a small segue in. So you mentioned your niece and it reminded me. So my brother, he last week had I don't know if it would technically be called a custody battle, but he went and had that so he can get joint custody of his daughter, and it went through. It got approved. Well, this weekend was the first time that she was staying the night. Well, I'm over there and I didn't know this, so like I ended up staying a little bit later, and like I have to go because I have to run a Pathfinder game and make dinner and all this other stuff. So I'm like, tell the niece, I'm like, hey, well, I gotta go. And she looks me like dead in the eye and is like, no. Like, who do you think you are leaving? I'm like, child, I have to leave. I got stuff to do. Just because you're spending the night doesn't mean I'm spending the night. But it was like
very much who gave you permission?
Well, like I understand like kind of where I guess she was coming from, because it's like normal I'm there until she has to go home. And she's not going home. So it's just like, no, you can't leave. And I'm like, yeah, and you're gonna watch me. So, but it was just, it's funny. I'm just like, I was just expecting more of like just like, okay, or what, like her normal shenanigans, but it was the fact that it was a strong no. And I'm like, okay, there.
All right, I see someone's learning how to be authoritative, but you're wrong.
It's like, look, you might be the only child, but I was the oldest child. And I don't have to listen to you.
You're not the boss of me.
Yeah, you're not the boss of me. How dare you? Push her in the mud. Run away.
But yeah, so if you guys haven't picked up from the fun fact, we're continuing with Gravity Falls. We're almost done season 1.
Oh, wait, we are? Oh, shoot. I watched a different show. I can't even make this joke. I don't know any other TV shows.
You could have literally just said the only other show you're watching. That we literally talked about earlier.
The first thing popped in my head, I was like, Gravity Falls? And I'm like, no, that's what we're watching now. That's what we're talking about.
That's not the joke.
What's it? My niece has been watching Bluey. I watched
that is also
bits and
animated.
Pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I know a lot of like people that aren't children also enjoy that show. Yeah. So this episode has the best character in it.
who was kind of introduced last episode because...
He was introduced in every episode. He was in episode 1.
I realized you already filled out all the stuff for episode 19 when I wasn't looking. But before we talk about who we get to meet this episode, let us go ahead and roll our dice.
Oh, no, the person already... They're going to talk.
Oh, okay. You invited him as a special guest?
Yeah, I was just like, dude, you were so good. Let's just have you you can run this
Since
now.
it's nighttime, my lighting is a bit off, so let's see if you guys can read.
I'm not looking. Oh. Well, did you roll?
Yes, you can look at the screen now.
No, I'm going to say my number so that way people don't think I'm before I look up.
Okay.
So I rolled a 3.
I rolled a 12.
Well, you get to introduce the best character in the show.
Are you disappointed?
Nah. He comes back.
You have also talked 3 episodes in a row now.
Yeah, that's true. By this date, I'm like looking at it. There's like, you get like big chunks, and then I get like these little chunks.
All right. So
why does my one name not have a capital P? I must have wrote that one.
Where? Oh, this one right here. Oh, that one.
There's 2.
But yes, so like I mentioned, we're on episode 19 out of 20 in the first season. And in this episode, my little side story before I begin just going over the episode is that I watched this at the gym thinking that I might have had time yesterday to meet with Itisdpayne. So I was on a treadmill and I was like, finish the episode while I was on the treadmill. I think I can call it. I think I can do other exercises now. I don't want to be on the treadmill anymore. Like 25 minutes on a treadmill, I think is a healthy enough habit.
We might have been watching it at the same time. It's like, yeah, I think. I don't know. I don't know what time you went to the gym.
I think I messaged you
when you were still at the gym or still out.
Yeah, while I was still. Oh yeah, because I was taking longer because I thought it'd be a good idea to go grocery shopping, but then after I
it's always a good idea.
It's a good idea, but then after I did it, I was tired between that and the gym, and I was hungry, so then I went out and picked up food. So it wasn't necessarily, like, the best idea, but I did cook dinner tonight, so it counts for something. But
yeah, it's a start.
But yeah, so we open up with Mabel and Dipper getting called downstairs, where Grunkle Stan is trying to laugh at a new commercial that Gideon is setting up, where Gideon is saying, you know, I believe he has like angelic wings and is trying to say about how he has a new upcoming attraction and that he's ready to show it off to everybody. And then towards the end of the commercial, he goes, and by the way, this is the location. And it literally shows the Mystery Shack and then their new pop-up tents for the Tent of Telepathy over top of it. And, sorry, I just got a random message. But yeah, so then Stan is laughing about it, saying that there's no way he can get into the safe or anything like that.
And then they list off like a whole bunch of things, like Wendy's like, I called him stealing my moisturizer.
Oh, yes.
And Sue's like, and then Mabel's like, remember when I wouldn't date him and tried to destroy us all? And yeah, they all like have their gripes. And as Seuss is like, and yet our mutual hatred for him bonds us together.
And this whole time you find out that Gideon is in fact messing with Stan's safe in his office. And he's counting off numbers and freaking out. And Stan is finds him. And Gideon's like, oh ho ho, if it's not my arch nemesis. It seems to be a game of cat and mouse. I wonder who is. And Stan asks for Seuss to bring him the broom. To which Gideon hisses as Stan just chases him around the room with his broom. And hits him and chases him outside. To which Gideon, being Gideon, is like, you'll rue this day. I'm coming for it. I'm coming for the Mystery Shack.
Yeah, it's very much, I imagine, like, how you get a raccoon out of your house or
yes,
your dumpster.
Just pushing and chasing it, hoping it doesn't bite you back.
Yep.
Then Stan chuckles and says that the only place the combo for the safe exists is in his own brain, so it's all safe and the kid shouldn't worry about it. And then Gideon runs off into the woods angrily and pulls out his copy of the journal and says that nothing is safe from him, to which he begins initiating a whole thing. But while he's doing that, it cuts to the theme song, and then it cuts to them watching more TV, and it shows off the movie Grandpa the Kid. To which Mabel is like, can we watch something else that we'd all like Dream Boy High? And it's the two boys that we saw in her, is it the when she's high on expired candy?
I believe so. I can double check that.
Yes.
I will say there's the one line that I really do like from Grandpa the Kid. I'm tired during the day. And Stan's like, I relate to this. And I'm like, so do I.
Yeah, we all of us are starting to get to that age. But I like the tagline on the Dream Boy High movie because it's where love is on your permanent record. But it's, yeah, and it's decorated as a whole 80s theme and everything. But the rest of the room, they just boo it and they don't want to watch it. And Mabel is like, you'll learn to like it. And then they hear a crash in the kitchen to where Sue says it's a bat. And Stan sends off Dipper. And Dipper gets all grumpy because he's like, Grunkle Stan, you always send me off to do this stuff. And this is a lot. I'm not doing it this time. And Stan says, just keeps pushing him to go ahead and take care of it. And Dipper gives in and goes into the kitchen to try and deal with a bat. And before Dipper walks in, Mabel says something like, don't forget, bats are more scared of you than you are of them. And then Dipper starts to get attacked by this bat. And she's like, oh, no, maybe that's ducklings.
Zyler and Kraz were first seen in The Legend of the Gobblewonker. And as Mabel is running around in a hamster ball.
Beautiful. And that's still, both of those things apply to this episode, funnily enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Call back the episode.
So then Seuss is tending to Dipper's wounds where he had gotten attacked, and Seuss is putting I think it's like iodine in the cut, and he's like singing about it as Dipper gripes about being picked on by Grunkle Stan. And Seuss says something like, Stan's personality is one of life's greatest mysteries. And then he starts to compare it to being able to lick your own elbow, to which Mabel starts trying to get him to lick it. So you just have like montages of Seuss randomly appearing with his arm up, unable to lick his own elbow. But before, and then Dipper says that he thinks Grunkle Stan must hate him because he keeps pushing him to do things he doesn't want to do and seems to rag on him all the time. And then he hears Stan shout that the sink is clogged and he needs Dipper's help. And Dipper takes the name brand Nyarf dart and shoots it into Stan's portrait before heading out to help him. So this is where we have Gideon, who is building his little ritual totem area and starts to call upon your favorite guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mentioning triangles and various words as such. And Mabel and Seuss are outside still trying to watch Seuss lick his elbow. I think his line is, it escapes his grasp like the infinite horizon. And then they stumble into the bushes to where they witness Gideon at this point glowing and chanting in words that are no longer English.
Yeah, it's according to the transcript here, it is broken Latin, which is something I did for my Call of Cthulhu game. And Latin, no matter what, it's funny that Latin was used for like, it's like only the learned scholars and clergy members will use it to preach their sermons and all that stuff. And it's like, you speak Latin, it sounds like you're summoning a demon.
Yeah, and then the backwards chanting, I just see in the transcript, I didn't pick it up when he was actually saying it, but apparently it's him saying message backwards. I
knew it was, he was saying something backward, like it was the definite change from him going like Vene Fortes Dominus Mentis, like all that stuff, because it's like, yeah, that's very much Latin, but then it was just like the way he was talking, yeah, I'm like, I see it, yeah, message backwards and all that stuff, but it's just like, I'm like, as he was talking, I was like, that's something in reverse. I don't know what it is, and I don't know how to find it out except for look at the transcript, and I'll do that later.
And here we are now looking at the
Yep.
transcript.
It was a little later than expected, but still later.
But yeah, so then we see basically time seems to pause, everything goes black and white, and then a big triangular shape appears with a top hat and a single eye, and he shouts how it's good to be back, and his name is Bill Cipher. And he looks at Gideon. He looks at Gideon and asks, "What are you, some kind of ventriloquist dummy?"
Such a good line.
And he's like, "Just kidding, I know who you are, Gideon." And Gideon's like freaking out, even though Gideon should have read what was going on in the journal. But in either case,
It sounds like there's different things.
different
written in-
notes.
Yeah. Which.
He does have. He has journal 2 versus Gideon. Dipper having 3, so that could make sense.
But theoretically, there's a 1 somewhere.
Theoretically. But then Bill shows off that he can do anything he wants by pulling out the teeth of a deer and putting them back, which is horrifying.
Yeah. There's so many things in this episode. I'm like, what did Disney not allow
To let that one go through?
Yeah. I'm like, well, chanting in Latin, like the backwards talk, literally you summoned a demon. Like, it's just, it feels like so many things that are off brand for a Disney TV show. And it's just like, man, I know there's like a whole thing of like that they put out of just all the stuff that Disney said, no, you can't have this. But yeah.
But then so then Gideon admits that he wants to access the safe owned by Stanford Pines, to which Bill has a flashback of somebody.
No, flashback. I like that.
Yeah, flashback. He has a flashback of somebody who does look like Stan, and goes, "Oh, that's enough convincing that I needed. I can get whatever you want as long as you promise to help me with whatever I want. We'll work out the actual details later." To which Gideon agrees to, because Gideon is not smart. So then Bill excitedly shouts that he's going to go ahead and invade Stan's mind. And it should be fun. And he shouts as he starts to disappear, "Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Yes. Buy gold. Bye."
I heard that last one said to me.
The last bit?
Yeah. Bye. No. No, I had people tell me to buy gold, but it wasn't before well, I don't know anyone who's really told me reality is an illusion and the universe is a hologram, like, and legitimately believed it. If someone did say that to me, I was like, did you just watch The Matrix? Like,
are you good?
You okay there, buddy?
Yeah, but then we see that Dipper is inside sweeping. He is sweeping as Grunkle Stan is sleeping. And it seems like Grunkle Stan is having some sort of nightmares or fits, and Dipper is like, I have no clue what's going on inside his head. And then Seuss and Mabel run in saying that they've got to help Stan, and that Seuss explains that an evil triangle guy just said he's going to invade Stan's brain. And and we also got snacks on the way as he's eating this large bag of snacks. So Dipper cross-checks his journal and learns that, he should never be summoned. Whatever you do, don't let him into your mind. And then they keep hearing Grunkle Stan continuously grunt and seem uncomfortable while he's napping in his living room chair. So, we see the shadow of Bill enter into Stan, to which Stan's eyes start glowing blue and he starts making random grunts and movements. And Mabel decides that she's going to read more of the journal and finds out that you can follow the demon into people's minds and prevent it, and that there's an incantation. And Dipper, already tired of having to do whatever Grunkle Stan says, is like, oh, of course, I gotta fix sinks, I gotta fight bats, now I have to save him from a crazy brain demon. And then Mabel is very worried about the chance of them losing the shack. So they all agree to head in, and Dipper says, we're about to journey into the most horrifying, disturbing place any of us have ever been, our uncle's mind. There's so many good, one-liners.
Who wrote? I'm gonna find out who wrote this episode. This is, it's peak of just great. Tim Kieran, Matt Chapman, and Alex Hirsch.
Okay.
I'm going to check out the other two, see if they wrote any other episodes. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Tim McKeon. He did Dipper versus Manliness.
That's a good episode.
Double Dipper, Irrational Treasure. And then Little Dipper, Boss Mabel, Carpet Diem, Land Before Swine, and then this one. Apparently
Land Before Swine is fun, too.
That's the... Well, it doesn't say if he... Doesn't look like he wrote anything in season 2. Matt Chapman... I think Matt Chapman is like one of Alex's friends. So he wrote head writing credits for Boys Crazy, Dreamscapers, and Gideon Rises, the next episode. And then a bunch of season 2.
Okay.
But not like the final episodes of season 2. And then Alex Hirsch probably wrote a bunch. Wow, he has such a bigger wiki on this.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, he's on every episode. Yeah, once again, who would have thought?
Couldn't even imagine. But yes, so then they are surrounded by a circle of candles. Oh, I'm tired. Trying to begin the incantation that they need to be able to head into his mind. And Seuss says out loud that he wonders what Stan's thinking about right now. And he moves Stan's face. I love Seuss like a son. And Dipper says, no, this is serious. And he still uses Stan's mouth. He's like, sorry. Mabel and Seuss high five. And then they proceed to read off the incantation. And his eyes glow blue, signifying that things are working. And then Seuss's, then Mabel's, and all the candles begin to go out. And they end up inside of his mind, and they all kind of look around at the scenery and go, what? This is it? And Seuss is like, I figured there'd be a lot more hot old ladies.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, okay, dude.
So Mabel explains that they're looking for the triangle guy, and Bill makes himself present, going, hey, look out for the triangle guy, mocking them very clearly. So Mabel tries to tackle him, ends up running inside of him, and then runs out thinking that she's grabbed him, and then she's confused. And Bill looks at him and goes, it's Stan's family. We have ? Shooting star, and pine tree. Because Seuss has his ? t-shirt.
Yeah.
Mabel usually has a sweater with a shooting star, and then Dipper's pine tree hat. And Bill shoots a laser through Dipper's chest, and Dipper thinks he's dead and is like screaming, and Mabel just
would
sticks,
too.
Yeah,
Like...
in fairness. And Mabel just sticks a hand through, boop.
Chest buster.
So then Bill says that he just wants the code to the safe, and that inside his mind is a representation of the shack with a bunch of doors to all of his different memories, and inside at least one of these would be him inputting the code into the safe, which he has the deal worked out with Gideon to get it back to him.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mabel does what Mabel does and shouts that they're going to stop him before he can get to do that, and Bill, of course, thinks it's hilarious and is like, whatever, I know what you're thinking right now. And then Mabel goes, no, there's no way. And then Zyler and Kraz from the Dream High School movie she wanted to watch appear, and I forget, one of the two of them goes, we must be in heaven because there's an angel here, and leans down to Mabel. And Mabel's like, I'm never letting go of your leg.
Yep. Sorry, I was looking through to find out who voiced Bill Cipher, and then I was just reading a bunch of other fun facts about him. Mm-hmm. Which Alex Hirsch voices him.
Oh, fun.
Let's see. Where was it? Some of the stuff is kind of spoilers, but likes Conjuring into whatever form people fear the most. Chaos, partying, destruction, being feared. Gets that twice. Silly straws. In Dipper and Mabel's Guide to Mystery and Nonstop Fun. So I guess that was a book that he likes silly straws. And then he dislikes synthesized music, deals being cut off or called off, not being taken seriously, being underestimated, magic symbols named cryptos.
Makes sense.
That last one, yes. A few of these other ones we'll probably see in a little bit.
Yeah, so then...
oh, sorry. The last thing is his most memorable quote is, "Remember, reality's an illusion. Universal hologram, buy gold, buy."
It's very good. But yeah, Dipper wants to leave behind Xyler and Kraz because they hurt his eyes looking at him. And Mabel's like, no, they might help us. So they make an arm throne for her. And Seuss offers one to Dipper, and Dipper is just like, no, let's just go inside the shack. And then as they go in, my favorite thing is they have a bat with Stan's face flying around just shouting no refunds.
Yeah. There's a lot of places, there's just signs and stuff saying no refunds. Just, yeah. It's the worst Pokemon. No refunds. Yeah.
So then we get around to all of Stan's memories as all the different doors, and Dipper's like, oh, so I can watch Stan bully me and see how much he hates me in all these different versions. And Mabel's like, come on, get over it. We got to find the codes before Bill does. And they start searching around, and Seuss opens a door, and you find out that Grunkle Stan has been in prison with Colombian prisoners, to which Stan is like, seems like very friendly to them. And then the subtitles for them in Spanish are like, I hope he dies.
Yeah. And then the subtitle, see. This is such like, I really do like this episode because it's like we learn a lot about Grunkle Stan. But
and very like short snippets.
It's short snippets, but there's like we do get a backstory in a second, but it's just like there's so many things that are just like don't like make any sense, and then like in season 2 a lot of the things like are connected to dots, but it's just like, wait, which is literally the next thing. He's like, he was a door-to-door salesman.
His stand vac, it sucks more than anything.
Isn't that in A Death of a Salesman? Isn't that what they're selling? Is vacuums door to door?
I forget if it's vacuums. It's been a while since I read that play.
You can keep going while I look it up.
But yeah, so he was a door-to-door salesman. And then he has a date with Lazy Susan, and it's a terrible date because he's like, so your eye, it's weird, huh? And she just laughs, and he's like, you know what? I am going to leave because of a non-specific excuse, and then just knocks over the food and runs away. And then Dipper finds a door that's specifically about him that has like the pine shape to it. And Seuss is like, I don't think that's a good idea. And Dipper is like, come on, I just really want to find out. And Mabel's like, he loves all of us. Let's just keep going and try and find the code. And the two the two hot boys follow Mabel around without asking any questions. And while Dipper pretends to ignore the door, he goes back to get a little bit of a peek. And in the memory that he sees, he only catches part of a conversation where he overhears Stan saying something along the lines of, where is it? Oh, the kid's a loser. He's weak. He's an utter embarrassment. So Dipper doesn't stay for the whole memory and chooses to leave, assuming that this is, everything that Stan thinks about him.
Did we talk about the top secret door?
I don't know. Did they run into it already?
I thought it happens right before. Let's see. Lazy Susan. Dipper memories. Good idea. Keep moving. Love motion. Turns around. Quick
it's
peek.
Right after this memory that he finds the door.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, I couldn't remember where. What? Well, there's the other memory of the very beginning of the show. Boring.
Yeah, so then there's Seuss opens the door, and inside he sees Stan entering buttons on the vending machine, and Seuss is already shutting the door, but as the viewer we see the vending machine opens and a secret hallway appears, and Stan says if only people knew the truth that hidden behind this very vending machine I secretly have a, and then that's when Seuss shouts boring.
Boring.
And
so
then,
good.
Yeah, and then Mabel finds the top secret door right after that, and it's Stan in the bathroom playing with his tummy, who he calls Mr. Tummy, and asks, "Are you hungry?" And Mr. Tummy goes, "Yes," and Seuss screams. And then Stan forces the crackers into Mr. Tummy and smashes them, goes, "Yum, yum, 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 yum." And Mabel shuts the door. She's like, "No?"
Yeah, just wish I never saw that.
So then Mabel is hanging out with Seuss, and this Seuss that she's talking to makes a comment like, "Oh, you know how he hides all his arrest warrants underneath the rug in the gift shop?" So then Mabel spots a rug inside of Stan's memories, and they pull it and open the door, and they get the numbers for the safe. And Mabel's like, "Cool, let's destroy the door so then the triangular guy can't find it." So then the Seuss she's talking to is like, no, wait, my big fat arms are great at destroying stuff. And you see him like use his hands and use mind powers to lift the door. Yeah. And in the middle of the door finally being lifted off the ground, another Seuss walks in and says that he saw a memory of Stan rolling around in short shorts. And it didn't look half bad. Wait a second. What's going on here? So then you soon realize that the Seuss that Mabel was talking to that did see the code for the door is in fact Bill, and calls them all gullible, and is laughing and saying it's funny how dumb they all are. So Mabel shouts, "Your stink face." In response to this, and Zyler is like, "Awesome comeback, Mabel." Yeah. Mabel's like, "Don't treat me like a child, Zyler." Sorry, I just love how mad she gets.
It's a great line, but it's just like there is something that I find interesting, because like when we first meet Bill, he's like, "Dude, I know everything. I know all." Mm-hmm. But and
he
then
didn't know the safe.
He didn't know where the safe. Like he didn't know the safe number. He had to go into Stan's thing. It seems like he might know people rather than like specific information. Mm-hmm. And but was also interesting is like, when did he switch places with Seuss?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Because it's just like Seuss like, "Hey, remember where Stan hides all those illegal things?" I'm like, "That's right, let's go." And then he's just like, "Haha." But he's like,
"I've been Seuss all along."
Yeah,
it's like,
and he's,
"How long?"
But he's like, "Yeah, I knew you guys are so gullible. I knew you would lead me straight to the code." But it's like, "But you're the one that told them where to look."
It is a little bit confusing. Yeah, so then so Bill flies away now having the code and everything, and Mabel is excited to trying to excite everybody to hurry up and stop Bill from giving the code to Gideon, to which Dipper is very upset. He's like, "Why should I help him? He wants to get rid of me anyway, and I'm not going to fix any more of his problems." So Mabel's like, "All right, Seuss and I will do this on our own." And Seuss, before leaving, says that, you know, Dipper is a cool dude, but right now it isn't cool, dude.
Dude.
So they all leave, and Bill runs into Gideon, and Gideon's asking if he found the combination, and Bill calls him short stack. And it's just funny because Gideon doesn't get mad at Bill and if anybody else said that, Gideon would immediately just start screaming and shouting and calling for his dad to soothe him.
To be fair, if my first interaction was somebody calling me by my name and then just proceeded to rip the teeth out of a deer and then put them back,
you would let them call you whatever?
I think I would have been like, it's fair. It's fair. You do you.
Gideon is asking for the code, and Bill reads off the beginning numbers, but Mabel has a Narf gun and shoots it out of Bill Cipher's hands before he can read the last number. And we have a callback to another episode with the bottomless pit, where the door flies through a memory and flies into the bottomless pit, And you have Grunkle Stan go, "Whoop, I don't know what that was, but it's gone forever now," which he does say in that episode.
Yeah, I was like, I remember him saying that, and I'm like, hold up, I'm gonna go back and see, like, is it that door that flies in there?
Yeah, I wonder if
I'll go
they
look.
let you see or not. I said I don't know how well they let you see if it's a door or not in that episode.
I thought you were saying you're not gonna see it. I was like, how do you know? We were literally just talking.
Because
I'll give it a look right now. See if I can. Gotta mute the thing because it's right at the end.
Is it in the end or is it in the beginning when they're getting introduced to the bottomless pit and then they have the whoosh?
I think it's the beginning because I just saw the end and that's when Stan falls in.
And they go, "Oh, he'll be back."
Yeah. So, in the first story, back a little bit farther. I'm in the theme song. Wait, they fall in. Let's see. Oh, is it like right at the beginning? So, I don't know. We can keep going, and if I see it, I'll let you know.
Okay. Feel free to pause me whenever you think you've got it. Oh, I need to stop yawning.
Yeah, you took off your comfy.
So yes, so then Bill basically does like the Hulk phrasing, like, "You won't like me when I'm mad," and they're like, "Oh, I wonder what he's like when he's mad," and he gets into like becomes a really big size and is slowly increasing, and Mabel like gasps at this, and Zeus is like, "Huh, I guess when he gets really mad, he gets like mad." And he shouts in a demonic voice for them to eat nightmares. And before we can find out what happens between them, Dipper is lost in the memories of Grunkle Stan, and he's trying to open different doors hoping for the exit, and then he accidentally stumbles upon the same memory he found earlier, where he thought that Grunkle Stan was, calling him a loser and all this other stuff. And then before he shuts the door, he gets the full story. We learn that Grunkle Stan was actually, he had those things said to him, and he was the biggest wimp on the playground, so his dad involved him into boxing, and that boxing helped out because when someone was trying to steal a purse from his date, he just shouted, "Left hook!" and punched them.
Were they even dating? Like, or going on a date? Because it looked like they weren't even, like, they didn't even know each other.
I think it's implied that they're going on a date because they have her listed as Carlo, and I think isn't it the same girl from the dancing at their favorite 50s inspired 70s diner? I think it's the same girl.
It could be. I don't know. Yeah, who would know?
In the transcript, they say it's Carla.
Isn't that? Yeah, it might be. She looked different, but then again, I guess it was an older version. I don't know.
Yeah, because Stan was still in glasses and nerdy versus being like in the greaser outfit. But yeah, so Stan admits that he's trying to toughen up Dipper in the same way that his dad toughened him up. And Zeus was like, "Do you think it's working?" And then Dipper actually chopped the wood. So Stan said that he's coming along. But Stan says to tell Zeus not to bring it up at all because he's already got a big enough head as it is. So don't let it get to his ego. And Dipper ends up leaning into the memory too much and falls into it. And the Stan of the memory gets confused and is like, "Huh, you have a hole in your chest. Let's fix it right up." And Dipper's like, "You can just do that?" And Stan's like, "Yeah, it's my brain. You can do whatever you want. If you think it happens." So this ultimately causes Dipper to rush off to try and stop Bill. And Bill is creating nightmares. So Zeus shouts, "I hope he doesn't mean the British dog man I'm always dreaming about." And it conjures up this British dog man literally right in front of Zeus.
It's an English bulldog in a suit and hat. A bolo cap.
Hello? Yeah. Who's crying for a stick in the pudding? And pokes Zeus with a cane, and Zeus just screams, "It's everything I ever feared." And then Bill points his finger at Mabel, and Mabel's head like changes shape, and her skin turns green, and her voice progressively gets lower, saying, "What did you do to my cuteness?" And
It's the game over screen of Banjo-Kazooie.
And then Bill points to Xyler and Kraz, and there's no nightmare for them. He just shoots them off the cliff.
Yeah, but I was like, and you're next. Cool, we're next. Shot.
But yeah, so Dipper flies in.
Dream boys.
In the deep voice. And Dipper starts antagonizing Bill. And Dipper says that, if you can imagine it, then you can make it happen. And then Mabel gets confused, and he's like, it's like weapons and fighting stuff. Just think about it, and it can happen. So, Dipper, shoots a finger laser at the British dog man, and Seuss exclaims, he's dead now. So Mabel decides to have kittens for fists, and starts shooting them at Bill, and he starts screaming. And then the kittens on her hand start to kiss her on the face. So Mabel's like, oh, I made new friends. So Seuss makes a stomach beam stare and lifts his shirt up, and it's a bunch of question marks that shoot out and hit Bill. And then Bill starts shooting lasers from his eyes, getting frustrated and saying there's enough games. So then, like we said earlier with the references, Mabel says hamster ball shields activate. So they all three imagine themselves in hamster balls to deflect the lasers, and they get reflected back into Bill's eye, and he starts getting upset and mad. Mabel saves her two hot boys, and they come up with musical instruments and playing the synthesized music, to which you said he hates.
Yeah, synthesized music, it hurts.
And all of them decide to imagine a portal for Bill to leave Stan's mind, and it ends up working. But but while he's on his way out, he says, I'm impressed with you guys. You're a lot more clever than you look, especially the fat one. And Seuss goes, Mabel, I think he's talking about you.
One thing that doesn't he is getting pulled out, and then he's just he pretty much screams enough, and then just erases
resets everything.
So.
Yeah, but then Bill goes, I'll let you guys off this time, but want you to know that there will be a day when everything comes back to get them, and everything will change. And Dipper and the gang all cheer about them being able to get out. And Mabel gets sad, worried that she'll never see Xyler and Kraz again. And they say, you'll see us in your dreams. And Xyler's like, good one, bro.
Good one. And then they all wake up.
Yeah, they all wake up in the living room. And Stan's confused. And he's like, why was I dreaming about two brightly colored and radical young men? But the group goes over and rushes... or Dipper rushes over to hug Stan. And Stan's like, ew, is this a hug? And Dipper's like, no, it's a chokehold.
Get wrecked.
But then they get Mabel's excited because she believes that they saved the shack by defeating Bill, and Stan is confused about who Bill is. And then you find out that Gideon just breaks into the building anyway, and he said his plan B was dynamite the whole time.
It's a good plan.
It's a good plan. It also doesn't make sense to me that just holding the physical deed is enough for you to own property, but what do I know?
That's something I was also like, that's not how that works, guy.
Yeah, because he tried to trick him to sign off the lease, but Grunkle Stan purposely signed a fake name, so it wasn't legal anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Gideon is like, I'm holding the deed, so it's my place now, and then calls his dad to bring in the what do you call it? The swingy thingy that destroys.
Well,
the wrecking ball. Yes, he brings up the wrecking ball, which
Give
does
me like a wrecking ball.
Does destroy the back or the top of the mystery shack and the sign on it, and the sign falls on top of the gang, and then it says "to be continued."
Mm-hmm. And then apparently the end credits are slowed down in a Twin Peaks style to say "to be continued." I'm like, that was a Twin Peaks theme. I don't know. I just looked up the end of Twin Peaks, and I'm like, just hearing that closing scenes, I'm like, I want to add that to the list of things we never end. The never-ending list of stuff we watch. I miss that show.
I've started Twin Peaks. I never got around to finishing it.
Yeah, I didn't watch the new ones.
Oh, I forgot they did do some newer stuff in it. But my brain is running out of energy, so I'm going to ask you, who were you most like this
Oh,
episode?
do we want to just quick character
Oh,
revelations? We kind of
yes.
covered most of it, like that they have written here. It's Stan Pine's background, boxing, youth, punched a dude, arrest warrants under the pretty much everything, not really hidden. How he's the biggest wimp, and then I don't know why this is a character revelation that he had freckles and braces as a child because
It's a personality trait, clearly.
I don't know. I know most people keep their freckles, but anyway. Um, so, as we said, and then the two nightmares, which is Seuss's British Dog Man and Mabel losing her cuteness. There's a ton of series continuity. I'm not going to talk about the first one because it's in every episode we see the Water Tower. Yeah, it's pretty much just like a ton of callbacks to different things.
Everything that seems like small one-off stories is like
Yeah.
tied together.
Yeah, so like when Gideon goes to the summoning page of Bill Cipher, there's the negative $12 bill reappears again, in that near that page, from Irrational Treasure. Yeah, so the images that flash on Bill's body, this says that he knows a lot of things, are Nathaniel Northwest statue and the Trembly Crove from Irrational Treasure. There's Stan entering the vending machine, the broken arm of the Gideon bot, which that's coming up, and something else that gets covered coming up soon. Also, there's pretty much with the way Bill Cipher recognizes Stan is that on his I can't remember if we said this, but on his face, like it shows the tattoo that Stan has on his back that we see a little bit. Yeah, and then we just see it's a bunch of his memories. Let's see. There is a certain person that will be mentioned later that's sitting in Stan's memory during this boxing lesson.
Yeah, that I might have to rewatch to see.
Yeah, but apparently his face is hidden behind a book. Let's see. The swing set in front of the mystery shack to Stan Mines appears again in the ending credits of a different episode. And then this is an interesting one. Since Wendy is here, she must have forgiven Dipper for the events of Boy Crazy.
That's a good point.
But it could also just be she's on the clock.
And this is her break time, hanging out with them.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's yeah, it's pretty much nothing stands out. Oh, okay, Dipper's chant. So pretty much this is it was something I was looking up, but I didn't see anyone like fully explain it. But it was just kind of funny. They're like, altogether, it's some nonsensical phrasing, but each individual thing has its thing. So the first one is Fidius Omnium, which is confidence of awe. Magister Mentum, master of minds. Magnesium ad honum. Magnesium to man ad honum is a type of logical fallacy characterized by a personal attack during a debate. Magnus Opus, great work, pretty much of art or music. Habemus Corpus, which is literally you may have the body. It's a legal term that refers to a requirement of a person under arrest to be brought before a judge or into court so that evidence can be used against him or can be weighed. Inceptus Nullinus Overatus.
Yeah, I hovered over that one.
It's the Latinification of Inception by Nolan is overrated. Never watched Inception, so. Magistramentum, also Masterminds again. Magistramentum, Masterminds, and looks like just Masterminds over and over and over. So, it's fun. And then, yeah, there's like a lot of random things in here. I'm just like doing a quick scan. Oh, okay. Here's a list of all the things that flash on Bill Cipher's body when he says he knows a lot of things. A cartoon of John F. Kennedy, a photo of 3 UFOs flying, a zoomed-in image of the Mayan calendar, the image of Journal 3, a NASA lunar lander on the moon next to American flag, a zoomed-in image of 1 Universal Postal Portal pages of the book, of the journal. That's a spoiler. Anyway, a close-up of a skull next to a lit candle, Stonehenge, the Pyramids of Giza, Stan entering the secret code of the vending machine, a Bigfoot-like creature from the main title theme, part of the Zodiac, an enlarged image of a crop circle, Trembly Cove of Irrational Treasure, Nathan Northwest's statue, a zoomed-in image of the stamp from the main title, 3 gauges of a certain location that hasn't been revealed yet, the broken arm of another character we haven't met yet, the Gravity Falls maximum security prison, and then it repeats the UFO in the Mayan calendar. So, yeah. And then all of this, we never hear the last 2 numbers of Stan's Safe.
Nope.
So, with all that, most like, I don't know.
I mean, your favorite's Bill Cipher, right?
Oh, yeah. Favorite's easy. It's Bill Cipher. He's so cool. Oh, I didn't realize I was in there. How about you? Who's your favorite?
I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be the Dream Boys, because they're so oblivious.
I don't know why, but that was the only one that stuck in my head. I was like, I know she's not going to choose Bill Cipher. It's like, no one else was like hilarious. Sweet, we're next. Yeah, I don't know. Bill Cipher is just like, I think he's such a good villain.
He is.
It's just like,
he's not overly evil, but he's not nice either. So he's very fun and entertaining to see what shenanigans he's going to be up to. But yeah.
Well, like at this point during your first watch through, you're just like, okay, this is some dude, and then it's like as we progress, it's like this dude's got issues. But yeah, it's like I don't know, I think it's the way he's revealed and all that stuff, and I don't know. I do like the villain that seems like way powerful, and everyone's just like, oh, what do we do? And it's like ridiculous how you actually have to stop him. Most like I don't know. This is tough because it's this like, I don't know. I'm not like Grunkle Stan in this one. It's just like, I don't bully people to make them better. Mm-hmm. Which is essentially what he's doing.
I'm gonna say I'm most like Dipper because I feel like I was bullied to make me better.
Well, now I definitely can't say Grunkle Stan because it's just like, what happens off camera? It's like, you don't need to know.
No, this is childhood stuff. You didn't know me that long.
I know all. Face starts flashing with different things. I am Bill Cipher. Yeah, I'm just like thinking through it all, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't really super relate to any of them. And it's just like, I know like when I DM, I like to be like Bill Cipher.
But in your everyday life, not quite.
Yeah, that's I know it's like, cause okay, I gotta just like think through it for a second, cause like Mabel is just all like, we gotta do this, is like what we have to do, cause it's like she doesn't want to lose like her home and like or her summer home rather, and like this place where she holds a lot of memories and like seems like is kind of becoming her own person through this, and it's just like never really had an attachment to a location like that. Seuss is completely
He's
oblivious.
just here. Yeah, he's just here.
Yeah, he doesn't really add much.
He just cares about everyone there.
Yeah. Stan, as we said, kind of bullies and is like kind of justifying his bullying to attempt to toughen someone up. It's very much an old person way of like
generational trauma.
Yeah. But then it's just like, but look, it's working. He cut a log.
I wasn't as mean as my dad was.
Yeah. Let's see. There's that. Yeah, Dipper you kind of mentioned, and I don't really think I was bullied. If people tried to bully to make me better, I just never realized it. The Dream Boys,
they were also just kind of there.
Yeah, they're just kind of there. Gideon just is an opportunistic jerk.
Dynamite.
Yeah, it is a good plan. I know what it is. Wendy. She's there, complains about one thing, and then is never seen.
There.
It's just like, I'll complain, like, if people are complaining about somebody, I'll be like, yeah, this is what I don't like about them, and then it's just, I'm gone. Just like, whatever. Like,
You're checked out of the conversation.
Yeah.
You don't have a stake in the game.
Like, yeah. It's, if I'm not planning it or running the event, it's like, I don't know, my brain's like, I don't need to engage. Like, it's just, okay, autopilot, because then my brain's thinking of everything else I would need to work on when I get home. That's not what Wendy is doing at all.
Hey, she could be thinking of managing her 7 exes and make sure she never runs into them
I was
again.
about to say, yeah, she might be thinking about all her exes and how to avoid them. But, I don't know. I will say, though, Grunkle Stan would probably be a close second. Because it's, I don't know, it's, I've been told that I'm really good at heckling people. But it's not heckling to be like, to be mean. Yeah, it's not heckling to be mean or be like, I'm going to be so mean that they become better. It's more just, I do this a lot to teenagers. I observe them doing something really stupid, and then it's just like, what are you doing? And then they're like, you're bullying, and everybody's like, no, he's not bullying. If he was bullying, you would know. It's like, he's just giving you a hard time because you did something completely stupid. So, but it's just when we take the personality test, I will be surprised if I'm not Grunkle Stan.
I know, we're almost halfway through the whole series.
There's still see. I don't know, there's still a chance I might get Bill Cipher.
In your dreams. Haha. Or nightmares.
I have more of those depending on which way I sleep, which I found is apparently a roadmap to, or a pathway to lucid dreaming. But that seems like another thing that's a lot of work.
It does.
You know what? I make these jokes and everything. Like, yeah, I could be that. We all know, like, at the end, I'm just going to be pool jail kid.
Oh, my goodness. But yes. Do you have anything else to add for this episode?
Bill Cipher, best character.
Okay, well, we'll end on that. Thank you, everyone, for listening this far. We always appreciate it. Leave ratings, reviews, comments, likes, subscribe, all of the things, and we'd appreciate it a ton. I do know one thing, and it's like, I've been listening to, like, I listen to other podcasts, and we don't normally go into this, but, like, if you guys do leave reviews or anything, it's just like, if you go into iTunes, if you listen to this on iTunes, and if you leave a 5-star review, you don't have to write anything. It helps push the podcast out. So, like, if you enjoy what we're doing, like, it doesn't, I don't know, it might work the same on Spotify. I don't know how it works on Spotify, but it's just like, if you give it, like, you don't have to write anything. If you just give it, like, a 5-star review, and if you like it, and if there is something you like about it, you write it, like, that's even better. But it's just like, if you're like, man, I wish more nerds listened to this, it's like, that's a very easy way to do that. It would also be very good if I actually started using our Twitter account again. So, but Mondays are busy. There's like, I do be busy. There's like 3 things that I do that get dropped on Mondays, and I'm like, why did I schedule it this way? You're like, Monday's my free day. Oh, and everything else day at the same time. Yeah, well,
I know why the Call of Cthulhu podcast gets dropped on Monday. It's all because Halloween was on Monday, and I wanted the prologue to drop on Monday, the last episode of the prologue. I kind of regret me being a stickler for that now, because it would be nice if it was 2 different days, but it's too late for that now.
Well then, but yeah, I don't have anything else either, so talk to you guys next time. I'm probably gonna sleep, if not soon.
I'm not.
Oh no!
Okay, later, nerds. Bye.